light to this world. So many names and titles he was given. As I say, he was here 70 years ago, 1954 in Oxford, receiving a doctorate in civil law. He also went to Bath, where he received freedom of the city. And we have here the Director of Operations and the historian who will take you on a guided tour of Fairfield House in Bath, where he lived. And so I'm going to ask him a few words. Like, for example, like all these people gathering here wondering why we are celebrating His Majesty. Will you give us some idea why His Majesty is so important in world history and why it's something people should know?
Yes, greetings everyone, Ras Benji speaking here. Emperor Haile Selassie is the 225th emperor in the line of kings going back to the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. He was the head of the oldest dynasty in world history. He had the most accolades in the Guinness World Records. He's one of the most traveled human beings. In 1954, 70 years ago, he was on his world tour. So him coming to Oxford, coming to Bath, coming to London is very special that His Majesty chose to come to these places on this auspicious occasion, you know, on his world travels, to make a stop at these places, to thank people that supported him in Britain during the years of exile. Because Italy invaded Ethiopia in 1935, Emperor Haile Selassie, he's rallied his people, he's fought on the battlefield. He had to come into exile. So he came to Britain, he spoke to the League of Nations in Geneva, Switzerland, gave a very famous address where he tried to stop World War II. And it was said of the emperor that had the nations of the world listened to him, undoubtedly 80 million lives would have been saved. So World War II never would have occurred. So this is why Emperor Haile Selassie is important to remember. But unfortunately in Ethiopia, there was a communist revolution in 1974, and speaking about Emperor Haile Selassie, his achievements, his world connections, his sacrifice for his country was very taboo for many years, and it's only now that people are reassessing this impact of Emperor Haile Selassie. But in that time, there's a group of people that everybody knows called Rastafari. Rasta man, Rasta woman, Rastafari people. Rastafari people have been keeping the banner of Emperor Haile Selassie and the name of Emperor Haile Selassie alive in the world. So this is today why we play some reggae music that everybody knows and everyone enjoys. But when we think of someone like Bob Marley, he's like one of the most famous musicians of all time. Every country on earth, every minute, someone's playing a Bob Marley song. But who's Bob Marley singing these songs for? Who's he singing One Love? When he's singing about one love, that's the vision of Emperor Haile Selassie I. And Bob Marley, in a song called War, he put the emperor's speech that he gave to the United Nations in 1963 to music. And Emperor Haile Selassie, in that speech, he says, until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, then there will be no peace on earth, or as Bob Marley says it, everywhere is war. So that's just a little warm-up about Emperor Haile Selassie.
Yes, I told you this man number two. And I'm sure he could go on, I know he could go on. And as I say, every Sunday at Bath, at His Majesty's former house, Fairfield House, look it up, come down, and you will surely be entertained. There's always so much to go into that. And next weekend in Bath and Bristol, I know there's a lot of more celebrations going on. Do you want to tell people quickly about what's going on next week?
Yes, so it's wonderful in Oxford, also in Bristol. There's been commemorations of the Emperor's 70th anniversary of his return to this country. And in Bath, which was the Emperor's home, we're hosting the celebration of all celebrations. And that's at the Bath Assembly Rooms on the 19th of October. It's a free event for Black History Month. The Emperor was awarded the freedom of the city. So we invite everyone from our communities and Friends of Fairfield House, supporters of the Emperor and his legacy, to come and celebrate in the Bath Assembly Rooms. And for those that don't know the Bath Assembly Rooms, They're famous Georgian ballrooms. They're said to be the greatest ballroom, the most finest ballroom of any kingdom. So we are celebrating in the assembly rooms, and that's a very unique, special thing, historic in its own right, for us to be celebrating there in one time, and we invite everyone to come and celebrate with us. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ras Benji. Anybody who had any questions, I say, do come forward. This is a very unique opportunity and something that most of us could never imagine really happening in the centre of Oxford. Why not? Like, you just heard so much reasons why everyone should really know about it, you know? Everybody's heard about Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill, the people rate very highly. Come and see a photograph of Winston Churchill taking a bow before the King of Kings, you know? Everybody acknowledges him as the highest. Bob Marley, the most famous name on the planet, or the most certainly known musician on the planet, as again, is singing about his Imperial Majesty. So this is a unique opportunity to come and learn something. This exhibition just focuses on his own time in the UK. And as I said, it was the people of Britain used to make themselves little red, green and gold lapels to show their solidarity with the Ethiopian cause when it was under fascist aggression. And one of those main supporters we mentioned earlier was Sylvia Pankhurst. Everybody knows the name Sylvia Pankhurst through the suffragette movement. She was a staunch feminist all her life, but took up the cause of Ethiopia. Do you want to tell us some more about Sylvia?
Yeah, Sylvia Pankhurst is one of the most famous suffragettes. It's on March the 8th that we celebrate International Women's Day, and this is the day that Sylvia Pankhurst was arrested. So that's how important she is to the suffragette movement and to women's rights. But a lot of people don't know about the other part of her life, the 25 years that she spent campaigning for Ethiopia, to help Ethiopia with her development. And Sylvia Pankhurst actually moved to Ethiopia to work for Emperor Haile Selassie. She was a great friend and supporter of the Emperor when he was in his troubled times, and she became so devoted to Ethiopia, she wanted to move there. And she's buried at Holy Trinity Cathedral, Addis Ababa, which is amazing to visit Sylvia Pankhurst's grave with her son Richard. They've made it into a nice seating area, which is like provoking discussion. I think it's so fitting for a lady like Sylvia Pankhurst that would always provoke discussion, you know? So yeah, that's Sylvia Pankhurst. Find out more about her at Fairfield House in our museum. We have a special section on Sylvia Pankhurst.
So because the whole book collection, the Pankhurst book collection, her son then became obviously a great expert in Ethiopia. Tell us a bit more just what people could see at Fairfield House and some of the histories that are revealed.
So Fairfield House is where the Emperor lived when he was in the years of exile in this country. And in 1958 he gifted it to the city of Bath for the good of the elderly people. And it became a residential care home, and now it's a day centre for the elderly. So it's still used as a day centre for Bath's elderly during the working week. But on the weekends we're open for visitors, especially on Sundays. We do a historical guided tour. We've developed a museum and other heritage areas of the house, reflecting the heritage of the Ethiopian royal family, so that everyone can come and learn from this important legacy for the city of Bath, but also nationally and internationally. It's an important story.
Thank you very much once again, Ras Benji. Thank you for all those who come out to learn something. As I say, do come forward and ask any questions. This is a unique opportunity, certainly in Oxford, to come and learn this. This is not stuff they tell you in school, but as I say, the most famous man on the planet 70 years ago in your parents' time. You must ask the wonder why. Yeah. So come forward, yes, take a look at the exhibition and give it thanks for this day. 70 years ago.